This is question number 10, which is the 5th question in the story that we're answering today about Oliver. What is the correct way to write sentence 33? Correct way, write sentence 33. Again, anytime you see write, rewrite, combine, revise, and the sentences all look a lot alike. The shrimp swam after the shrimp swam after the shrimp swam after the shrimp. All of those look a lot alike. So you're going to use the strategy Chinese. You're going to pick the sentence that you think is correct, and you're going to make all the rest of the sentences look like it. What we're going to start by doing is going through each sentence and asking ourselves if we see anything wrong with it. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. That sounds okay. The coral cheering and waving its arms wildly. That doesn't sound the way we talk. That doesn't sound right, so I'm going to put an X. I don't think that's a good choice. The shrimp swam after the clownfish, comma, and the coral cheered. Let's look right here at the commas and the fanboys. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. That's a complete sentence. The coral cheered. It waved its arms wildly. That would work, but let's look at this comma. The shrimp swam after the clownfish, and the coral cheered. That's okay. It waved its arms wildly. That's complete. It's complete on the left, complete on the right. So it needs a comma and a fanboys to make it right. It doesn't have a fanboys, so this is not a good choice. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. Look, here's a comma and a fanboys. Let's look. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. That's a complete sentence. The coral cheered. That's a complete sentence. Waving its arms wildly. Waving its arms wildly is not a complete sentence. Pull the pawpaw, random period, and capital letter. So now, I don't think any of these are it. I hope to goodness this is right. Let's look. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. That's a complete sentence. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. That's complete. So what they did on that one is over here, the shrimp swam after the clownfish. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. Over here is where they connected it with just a comma. So when you see a comma or a comma and a fanboy, circle it and see if you can figure out why that comma's there. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. That's a complete sentence. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. That's a complete sentence. So it's complete on the left, complete on the right. It needs both a comma and a fanboys to make it right. So you can't glue two complete sentences together with just a comma. You either need a comma and a fanboy, or you would bloop out that comma and insert a period and uppercase the, which is what we needed to do in this situation. So I believe that the correct answer is going to be J. Now to do our Chinese, what we have to do is we're going to match it up word for word and see how we can fix it. The shrimp swam after the clownfish, period. The coral cheered. Loop out the end and insert a comma. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. So all you had to do on this one is insert a comma and delete and. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. The next one. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. Bloop out the comma and the and insert a period. Uppercase the. The shrimp swam after the clownfish, period. The coral cheered. We don't need it, and we don't need it to say wave. We need it to say waving. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. So that would make this one look just like this one. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. The shrimp swam after the clownfish. We don't need the comma and. We need to insert a period. The shrimp swam after the clownfish, period. Make this capital. The coral cheered. We don't need the period, lowercase waving. The coral cheered, waving its arms wildly. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. My only correct answer on that is J.